Hi all. In today's session, what we are going to see is a new topic is called as views. Okay. So in yesterday's session, we have seen. Okay, I will share my screen. Just a minute. Hope my screen is visible. Hope my screen is visible. So in yesterday's session, we have seen about the index, right? What is mean by indexing and why we are using index in our table in order to speed up the retrieval of the data. We use the index, and by default, um, we have seen that Postgres is taking B tree, and in some cases, hashing also apply. And with respect to other spatial data and everything, it uses SPGist and all. And we have seen simple algorithm, right? So what is mean by binary search tree, and it's a simple algorithm, and this is not the one which Postgres is using. Okay, this is not the one. I have told you in order to um, convey some simple things in your mind, so that only you can able to understand other things. Okay, so for the simplicity, I have just started with the binary search tree. What is mean by a searching algorithm? So in order to give introduction to that, I hope you people have already studied all these things in your data structures, right? So binary tree and what is B tree, an introduction to the B tree, and what are the characteristics of a B tree. So all these basics we have seen, and internally how the post while giving the indexing, internally how the Postgres is treating after giving the index, and before index and after index, what is the cost difference, and everything we have already seen in the last session, right? In yesterday's session. In today's session, we are going to see about views. Okay, so what is mean by views? Views, which means it is nothing but a virtual table. Okay, so it is called, just a minute, some sound. I'll try to close the door. Just now the noise is reduced. Okay, so the views are nothing but it is a virtual table that are based on the result of SQL query. What it means? It means, so if consider if I am just giving one select query. Okay, with respect to one table, consider I am giving one select query. What it will do, it will select on based on some conditions or grouping or anything. It will select that particular rows which we have mentioned, right? Consider I am doing some join operations. What it will do, it will join with, all those tables, and it will gives us the one query result, right? One report on that table with respect to some conditions, right? So after giving all those things, while doing all those complex queries, okay, if I'm doing 20 lines of queries, and I want to join nearly 10 tables, okay, so that is a very long process, right? That is very big process. And if I want to reuse that particular query, okay, as a programmer, I have completed that query and I have kept it with me, okay. But what if when as an user, okay, or some other person who is responsible to run that particular query or use that particular query n number of times, okay. So for that purpose, I mean, I there is not it is not compulsory to reveal all the rows. Okay, that is not compulsory to reveal all the rows and columns to that particular person. I can able to hide only 2 rows and 2 columns. That is enough. Only 3 columns are enough to show that giving privilege to that person. Okay, so that can be done using this kind of virtual table. Hope you guys are getting my point. Okay, I will show you one example so that you can able to understand. So it is nothing but a virtual table based on the result of some other query. Okay, it provides a simplified view of an underlying data. A simplified view of an underlying data and allow you to simplify the complex queries and reports. So, which means a virtual table which is based on the result set of some other SQL queries. Okay. See, a view does not store any data on itself. Okay, it will not store any data on itself. Okay, it's not store any data on itself, which means it will rather than storing all the data on itself, it store just the definition of query, just that definition of query. That particular definition used to create the view. Okay, so it is just a simplified, used to simplify the complex queries. That's all. On using the views, we can able to join the multiple tables together and all those grouping operations and everything. We can able to see the simplified reports just by filtering out an unnecessary columns and rows. Then for the large table, we can able to see the simplified rows. Okay, 1 or 2 rows is enough to show it in a view. Then it is also possible. Okay. So view also provides the security by limiting the rows and columns to the user. Okay, so that is also one of the advantage. We will see the disadvantage in the disadvantage later after 10 to 15 minutes. I will introduce you about the view first. Okay, and its syntax. So this is the syntax: create view. So this is the keyword and this is a view name. Whatever name it may be, it should be in a meaningful way by representing that concept in a query. Okay, as select. Okay, as select column 1, column 2. So this is a normal select query with some where conditions and groupings, whatever it may be, you can do it. Okay, with where conditions, group by, order by, so anything you can do it. Okay, so this is the normal thing. So up to this it is normal. Okay, so from this select to order by, whatever you are doing, it is a normal query you are doing in a day-to-day life, right? So this is the one which is creating a view for this select query. Okay, I will tell you one example so that you can able to understand it easily. So what we are going to do is now we are going to, so we will take the we will try to create a view on basis of, so see here, I'm going to create a view for all these three by joining all these three things. Okay, so I'm going to create view. So here is my this is my view name. Okay, invoice underscore details is my view name as. Okay, so here I have created a view. So here I have created a view, and to the continuation of this view, okay, to the continuation of this particular query, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the normal select query. Okay, I'm going to do a normal select query with respect to the three tables. Okay, from the three tables is called as invoice details, right? Invoice details. I'm keeping this invoice details as ID, and I'm going to do an inner join with respect to the item master. Okay, so item underscore master. Okay, item master ITM. I'll keep it this item master as an alias name ITM. And the next thing is inner join. Okay, so next thing is I'm going to do with respect to the invoice master. Okay, INV. So what is the invoice master? So I will keep it as an just IM is enough. Okay, for item master, I'll keep it as an ITM, and for invoice master, just IM. Just this is alias name for the reference. So I have joined all these three things. Okay, so now from these three things, what I want is, mm, I want to display from the item master, sorry, invoice master. I need invoice ID. So ID, okay, comma, from same invoice master dot, I want invoice date. Okay, so what is the next thing I want? Okay, I will take the item from the item master. Okay, ITM. Okay, ITM item master. Right, item, just item. Okay, so what else I need? Okay, I will take the quantity here from the invoice details. I will take the quantity. So what is the invoice details? ID dot quantity, and what else? ID dot value. So all those things. Okay, that's enough. Okay, how many columns we are having? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right. So there are 5 columns are there. So from this 5 columns, what I want to display all the 5 columns from this three tables. So how to join these three tables with respect to the, you can see, with respect to the IDs on. So here ITM dot what is in the item master? So item ID, right? Item ID, which should be equal to this ID dot. I'm going to join this item master with invoice details, right? So ID dot item ID. So which should be equal. Similarly, here what I'm going to do, I'm going to join the above, okay, the above result. So all the, I have joined the invoice details with the item master using this condition. The ID should be equal. Okay, and now with the above condition, okay, with the above result, what I'm going to join, I'm going to join this invoice master im dot invoice ID, which should be equal to ID dot, so what is that, invoice ID, right? ID. So that's it. So this is the thing I want. So with respect to, this is a normal query which we have did many times, right? I have just selected all those items, item, date, quantity, and everything from the three different tables, right? By joining their IDs. So this is the normal query which we are doing, right? So hope you guys, do you have any doubt in this? Up to this, do you have any doubt? We have did all these things in the previous classes itself. So what is new in this? This is the line which is new today. So what is this line? I have created one view. So I will execute this. Okay, I will execute this line and show it to you how the view. Okay, I didn't open the Postgres. Okay, I'm going to connect it with NMDB class. I'm just trying to increase the font. So what I'm going to do is I will just copy this. I have created one view and this is called as that view name. Okay, this can be any name, but it should be meaningful. Okay, it should represent the operation which is doing. This query is doing what this query is doing. So it is giving some summary about the invoice details with respect to the date, item, quantity, and value. It is giving all these invoice details. So I have given this name. Okay, create view. It is just going to create one virtual table for this query, for this select query. Okay. So what does mean by virtual table? A table which is not going to store in any location like the normal table. Okay. So what happened? Syntax error near IM. Okay, I missed on. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to execute. So you can see here now the view has been created. So now what I'm going to do is you can see I'm going to select all the tables. Okay, see here I will show you. I will select all the tables. You can see here this is the sequence which we have generated. This is the physical table, right? It contains all the rows and columns, all kind of rows, columns, and inside that we are having datas and everything, right? This is called as a physical table, right? But this is the view. You can see the difference. View. This is the table. This is the view. So what is the difference? So in normal table, the Postgres will save all the physical data like rows and columns, and inside all the data, it will store it inside under this name. But with respect to the view, it stores only this definition. You can see here only this definition. Okay, so it stores only this query inside this view under this name. Okay, under this name, what it stores is it stores only this name. Okay, so how to select this name? Using the normal select query. Okay, so you can see here. So you can see here public invoice details. Under this, what are all the invoice ID, invoice date, item. Whenever I'm giving this thing or the select query, it will take all the columns which I have mentioned in this particular select query. Okay, so I will show you select how to select star from. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this view name. Okay, so here I have created one query and I have kept it under the view. Okay, and I have given one name. Here what I'm going to do, I'm going to select star from invoice details. That invoice details is nothing but an one view. You can see here. So we don't have any table. Okay, we don't have any physical table like invoice details, right? But this is the view. So in order to make it, what to say, in order to, for the naming convention, okay, for the, in order to make it simple, while when others, if others coming and seeing this particular thing, okay, they need to understand, okay, this particular thing is not a physical table, this is the view. So in order to do that, we need to give the view. Okay, we need to append this view with our view name. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drop this view, drop view, So I will drop this and I'm going to recreate this. Just for the naming convention, that's all. In order to make difference. So in order to drop the view, now what to do if you want to drop a table, drop table name, right? What if when you want to drop an index, drop index name. So like that, if you want to drop the view, this is the syntax. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new view with the name with this underscore view. Okay, just to make the difference between the normal table and the view. Okay, so here I have given this invoice details view as a view name and I have selected. So what if I want to do some process within that view? Okay, which means now okay, with respect to this item ID, okay, I want to select this item ID alone, or invoice ID, right? So for example, so I can able to use all kind of conditions, grouping statements and everything for an view. Okay, for this virtual table, it is not a real table, it is a virtual table. For this virtual table, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give some condition. Okay, where inv id is equal to 120. So like that, I'm just giving. Okay, it is also possible. You can see here, we can able to do the filtering option, right? Filtering option in this virtual table. Okay, so you can do the grouping also. That's not a problem. So if I want to do some grouping with respect to, okay, this, I will take this item one, um, or okay, I will do some grouping. Okay, I will take this item, so for each item, okay, so for each item, I need a sum of quantity. Okay, so sum of QPY, right, for each item. So after the where condition, what I need to do, I need to do the grouping by, okay, so group by what item. So this is also possible. So for what I'm doing all these stuffs, group by conditions and everything on the virtual table. So what this virtual table is displaying, this is the one it is displaying. It is executing this query internally. So each and every time when I'm calling this query, okay, when I'm calling this particular name, invoice details view, what it will do, it will execute this particular query each and every time. Okay, because there is no physical table attached with it. It's just a query. It will execute the query inside that view. That's all. Okay. So for that virtual table, what I am doing, I'm just giving all this kind of filtering, grouping, and everything. You can able to do everything in the view. Okay, it is possible. So here, what I did, I have selected one item. Okay, sorry, I have selected the item and some aggregate function, sum of quantity. And here I have filtered with respect to the invoice ID using where condition. So here I did the grouping. Okay, grouping with respect to the item. So this is what I did. So for the above table, you can see for the above table, it grouped all the item and it is displaying their sum. Okay, item 1, item 4, item 5 oil. So all the things got grouped. You can see here, everything got grouped. So here item 1 and here item 1. So item 1 occurs 2 times and it do the sum for these two things. Similarly for item 4, there is item 4, okay, no item 4. So item 5 also not occurring. So for what about the veggies? It will group all these veggies too, and it will sum to the sum of quantity for these three. Okay, so that is called as grouping, right? So the same thing, same filtering, grouping, and everything I can able to perform in the virtual table also. So what is the virtual table we have used here? Invoice details view. So what is under this invoice table view? This query is under the invoice table. What is inside this query? I have just I have just joined these three. Okay, I have just joined these three table, and from these three table I have just given all these select items, right? So that's all. So here we are, what we did is, here instead of giving the physical table, right? All the rows and columns, everything inside the item master, invoice master, and invoice details and everything. I have just instead of showing all the rows and columns inside the these three table, I have just shown only these five columns to the user by using the view. They can able, after creating the view, they can able to see only this name alone. I can restrict, okay, if these invoice details, invoice item master and invoice master are restricted, okay, are restricted to some user, then what you can do is you can give the restriction with respect to the view. You can give the restriction with respect to the view, and you can show them only limited number of columns here, and other columns you can hide. Okay, and the other columns you can hide. Just a minute. Okay, hope you guys understood this concept. So through this view you can able to restrict the rows and columns to the particular user. Okay, consider this item master and invoice master are restricted, so I can able to restrict from the user by creating a view, but they want to access some see here items and other two columns from this table, so that is their requirement. Okay, so in that case we can able to restrict like this. Okay, so just creating the view, just do the restriction for all these things and create a view with respect to all these three tables, and using this name the other person can able to access the view. Okay, so this is the restriction we can able to do, and one of the advantages of the view. Okay, so we will try to create one more view, and we will move on to the disadvantage. What are the disadvantages of view? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some summary for the same. So okay, I will try to create the group by within this view, and we will try to access that outside. Okay, select. What I'm going to do is the same thing. Okay, I will take it as a different. So I'm going to join it with the item master alone is enough. Okay, so I will take this item master. Okay, so I'm going to do is, let's see here. So I don't want this. So I don't want this also. I will take this item, and what I want is, okay, I will take the sum of, okay, I will take the sum of quantity. We did it in the previous query, right? And sum of quantity as total quantity. So this is the alias name, right? And I will do the sum for this value also. Okay, sum of value as total value. So this is just an alias name. Okay. So I have joined. I took this invoice details and I have joined the invoice details, and from this item I need to get it from the item master, and I have joined this invoice details. And after finishing all these things, what I need to do, I need to do the grouping, right? Group by what is that, with respect to this item, right? So all the other two are aggregate function. Okay, that's all. So for this query, okay, for this query, what I did was I have grouped the items, and for those items, I did the sum of quantity and the sum of the value in the invoice details table. Okay, I have chosen the items from the item master, and I did the sum of quantity and the sum of values, and these two things I got from the invoice details, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a view like this. So the view is not going, if I give the same name for the view, it will not allow. Okay, it will not allow. It is a similar thing like a table. It is not going to allow you to give the same name. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to invoice summary. Okay, I'll keep this name, invoice summary. Okay, now I'm going to create a view. So the view got created. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the, we're just going to see whether it has error. You can see here invoice summary, and it is a view. It's not a physical table, or it's not any other thing, sequence or anything. So from this view, okay, from this view, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select. See, we have already used some groupings and everything, right? We have already used groupings and joins inside this query. So it is possible to use the same joins and everything for this inside the view also. Okay, so I will just try to execute this. Select star from invoice summary. Okay, so I will show you how it, what is the output of this. So you can see here for all the items. Okay, for all the items, it has completed the aggregate function, the sum of, right, for all the items inside the item master. So now what I'm going to do is I want the total value. Okay, from this, it is already grouped. It's already grouped. Okay, this is the one which we are giving to the client, right, or any person who is dealing with this table, but he has some restriction to use these tables. He is unable to use all these tables directly. So I have restricted him by using, um, um, he cannot able to use all the columns inside that. So using the view, I have restricted. So what here what he wants is from this view. Okay, from this view, he wants the sum of the total value. Okay, like that he want the sum of the total value with respect to, or we can select any one or two items, like that we can do. Okay, just what he wants is item sum of what is here, the total value, right? So I will use the alias name, because here we are having the alias name, and this is the name which he can able to view. Okay, he cannot able to view this original name, original column, because I have given the alias name, and in the view it display only the alias name. Okay, from invoice. So now I'm going to do the group by item. So let us see what we are getting. You can see within the already it has see already it got group, so everything is unique only. So the usage of group by is not efficient here, right? So better we use the where condition. Okay, where item equal to item 1, right? Item 1. Okay, so I want to view the total value. So instead of doing the group by, I'm just doing the total value. So what is the total value of this particular item? Right? He can able to view, he can able to do the groupings, he can able to do the any operations which we are doing for the normal query. It is possible to do it in the view. Okay. So this is about the view. This is the virtual table. We are restricting if this item master and invoice details are restricted and their columns are restricted. So I can able to select the limited number of columns with a alias name, and I can create a view, and using that view, okay, using that view name, some third party can able to access the columns which I have mentioned in the inside the select query. Okay, and they can able to filter, group by, and whatever it may be, they can able to do it. So that is possible. So with respect to this virtual table. Okay, so that is the thing about the view. And due to time constraint, I will tell them about the materialized view in tomorrow's session, and also updatable view also in the tomorrow session. Okay, now we will go for some exercise, and before that I just want to tell you the disadvantage of. Okay, here I have kept one query. So this is the exercise which we are going to do. Okay, here what is the disadvantage? Okay, with respect to the mm, views, what is the disadvantage we can face is, see here, this is the table which we have already created, right? So this is the select query with respect to item group quantity, rate, value, and all the other things. We did the same query, right? You can see here we did the same query, right? So after creating all these things, I have created one index. Okay, so after creating an index for the normal query like this, okay, for the normal query like this, we have already seen what is the advantage of index, right? Index can able to speed up the process. So because uh, this normal query is directly accessing, right? Indirectly, it is accessing the item master, invoice details, invoice master, everything it is directly accessing, right? So index, with respect to index, you can able to do it in a faster way due to this indexing. But here you can see here invoice inv item details. It is the name of, this is the name of the view which we have created, right? This is the name of the view which we have created. Here I am accessing the view and I am doing the filtering option, whatever I did in the normal query. Here with respect to the view I am doing. See here the same query. Here we have did the filtering option, right? This is the same query. We did it with the filtering option. But here what we did, we used the view. Yeah, right? We have used the view. So at this point, it cannot able to access the uh, uh, index, right? So views does not have their own index, right? Views does not have their own index. Okay, so the query that is using the view, okay, the query that is using the view may be slower, may be slower. This query, this particular query may be slower than this. Okay, because this query is accessing directly. Okay, it is accessing directly about the invoice details, item master, and everything. It is accessing directly, and also it is accessing the index, right? It is accessing directly. We have already created the index for invoice details, and it is accessing directly, right? But according to this query, with respect to this query, we have created a view, and I am accessing the view. So this view cannot consist of the index. The view does not have its own index. So for the large number of, you can see for the large number of datas, like lakhs and lakhs of datas, while accessing and while doing the filtering option, while joining or doing the joining option, right? So all those things, it might be slower than the direct query. So that is one of the disadvantage of, that is one of the disadvantage of views. Okay, just keep this in mind. With respect to the index, we are having some disadvantage with respect to the views. Okay, on views. So this is the disadvantage. Hope you guys understood. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to do some exercise on this. Okay, so I will stop the recording.